capital is in a state of anarchy. The government is paralyzed. The last hour has struck. Troops of the Guards regiments have crushed the uprisings of 1905 into might crush Richmond. Now refuse to fire, and they too join the revolution. Party agitators of all hues struggled to win the allegiance of the mob for a dozen different revolutionary programs, to give the spontaneous and disorganized demonstrations form and direction. The fate, the future of Russia is at stake. Disintegrates. The court has lost all control, and the Tsar's demoralized supporters indulge in futile gestures. All await the final words of Nicholas II. We have thought fit to abdicate the throne of Russia and relinquish our sovereign power. And to his intimacy admits, I was born to be unhappy. I bring unhappiness to Russia. After reigning 3 centuries, the House of Romanov fades out in the pathos of a Tsar who is Tsar no more. The Tsarist era is over. The people have a new hope. Alexander Kerensky, dominant influence in the provisional government. The revolution has neither been planned nor is it led by the communists. The government is moderate and it is democratic. But the crisis mounts. More military disasters, less and less food, a collapsing economy. Still another change, more drastic change is on the way. A steel train races secretly from Switzerland through Germany to St. Petersburg. The German High Command has set in motion one of the most fateful plots in history. Intensify political chaos in staggering Russia, and she will be forced to surrender. Lenin, most violent of revolutionaries, is brought out of exile. The Germans admit, we send Lenin into Russia just as we send shells and poison gas against an enemy. Peace, land, bread, cried Lenin. He urges the soldiers at the front to desert to their villages and seize the land. And he rallies the workers and peasants who have organized democratic councils called Soviets by pledging all power to the Soviets, seeking thereby to crush Kerensky with the support of weary, confused men and women. Leon Trotsky, brilliant apostle of world revolution, and others like him, aid Lenin in his cause. Kerensky has no effective plan to meet the mounting crisis. Lenin, Trotsky, and their associates have a precise one. The communists call themselves Bolsheviki, majority-ites, although they represent but a tiny fraction of the Russian people. But with promises of peace, promises of land, promises of bread, seizing on the misery of the people, seizing on the military disasters inflicted by the Germans, seizing on the economic and political havoc of the time, knowing what they want and knowing how to get it, the communists staged their own revolution. November 1917. Trotsky's Revolutionary Military Committee spearheads a coup d'etat, an assault on the former Winter Palace, now the seat of the Democratic Provisional Government. Soldiers and armed workers of the Red Guard prepare to seize control of the state by force of arms, while sailors in the cruiser Aurora, anchored in the Neva River, lend support. frank liquidation of the idea of democracy by the idea of dictatorship. Lenin has spoken. The communist era has begun. Vladivostok, terminus of the Trans-Siberian Railroad, Russia's window on the Pacific, is a port of intervention, Allied intervention, along with Archangel. First Japan, then England, France, the United States, and others too. World War I is not yet over, but the new communist government has forsaken Russia's allies and has signed a disastrous peace with Germany, thereby allowing the Germans to concentrate their military power against the allies still fighting to the death in France. The summer of 1918 also brings civil war to the Russians. From the Volga to Siberia, anti-Bolshevik armies organized, aided by the allies. Some fight for the old regime, some fight for the independence of national minorities, some fight for revolutionary causes of their own, but all fight against Lenin and his government. The Commissar for War, Leon Trotsky, forges an army under the red banner of the revolution, an army which abolishes all rank and military courtesy, declaring that it fights for equality and the emancipation of peasants and workers. In the name of brotherhood, the Red Troops are pledged to a war of extermination against all who reject the new faith. The government may be weak, may even be discredited, but nationalism, as always, is fiercely strong. For 2 long years, the struggle for control of 1/6 of the Earth's surface, Russia's 8,500,000 square miles, rages with volcanic fury on a dozen fronts, from the Caspian Sea to the Arctic, from the Baltic to Mongolia. Victorious without rabid terrorism. Lenin has spoken again. At Yekaterinburg in the remote Urals, the royal family are held as prisoners by the communists. This man, this woman, these children, they were Russian. They were the most autocratic, the most orthodox emperor and empress, and their children were the imperial heirs of Tsardom. They were, but are no more. History has written them off, and they are blotted out in rabid terrorism. The bodies are hacked to pieces in the cellar and burned, and terror breeds more terror, the red answered by the white, and blood the color of both. Peace, land, bread. That was Lenin's promise to the people. A civil war with 7 million dead, a ravaged land and famine. That is what the people get. Equality, cried the communists. And there comes the equality of the slaughterhouse and the democracy of the cemetery. The dream of a brave new world, of a new heaven and a new earth, develops into a nightmare of starvation and economic collapse. Of comfort no man speaks. Let's talk of graves, of worms and epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. The communists have made Moscow the capital of their new Russia. Here is assembled the Soviet of People's Commissars. The right of the working classes to self-determination is a democratic superstition, Lenin tells his commissars. Lenin forbids freedom of speech, forbids freedom of the press, forbids the right to strike. The state owns and is everything. The party and the party alone knows what is best for the people, and Lenin alone knows what is best for the party. Foreign intervention has failed, and the Civil War has been crushed. But there is unrest in the land. There is unrest in the city. There is another crisis. To meet it, Lenin decreed his new economic policy, the expedient NEP. The new economic policy of communism is the old economic policy of capitalism. Workers and peasants, merchants and small capitalists are allowed to save their country by a system their government scorns, private enterprise.